here's a look at a way of seeing 2/3 times 1/2. Now, I multiply this out just like everybody else does, which is you multiply the numerator together and then you multiply the denominators together and then you simplify. So this is the way everybody does it. It's the way I do it too. But still, I want to see what that looks like. And I'm thinking of this as scaling. I'm scaling 2/3 by a half, which means I'm cutting 2/3 in half, which makes sense. Half of 2/3 is 1/3. But what does that look like? It looks just like when I'm drawing a picture of division, but I'm looking at things a little bit differently. So first I take a square and find what 2/3 are. I'm looking at the whole square. Here is 2/3 of the whole thing. This is the two, because we're looking at 2/3 of the whole square. And now I want to scale it by 1/2. So I've got to divide my square in half. And what I'm looking at here, this is a half part. What I'm looking at here is I'm looking at my 2/3, and it's now been scaled in half by this line that cuts the whole square in half. And I'm seeing that when I do that, there's 2 units out of 6 that represent my scaled down version of 2/3. So there's 6 units, and 2 of them represent what's been scaled down. So it comes out as the same as before. And like I said, this isn't necessarily the way of doing it, but it's a way of seeing it. It's a way of understanding it. So let me do one more, because I like doing these. So 2/3 by 5/8 time scale by 5/8. Now this is something I have no intuition about. The other one, I knew that half of 2/3 was 1/3, but this I don't have any sense of what it might be. So again, I'm going to make my square. I'm going to make it kind of big because I'm going to be dividing it into eighths over here. But first I'm going to divide it into thirds. And I did that differently than I usually, I did that differently than I usually do. I made it into rows first. But that's okay, it doesn't matter. Start with rows or columns. So now I'm going to do my columns of eighths. And just let me tell you a nice way of dividing something to eighths. Don't start over here and try to work your way across. Eighths are nice. You can divide in the middle, that's 2. Divide each one of them in half. Now we've got 4. And now I'll divide each one of these in half. And I'll have my eighths. And let's see, 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this portion represents 5/8 of 2/3. 5/8 of 2/3. I've got to look at how many total units are in my square. I know that's 8 across and 3 down, so that's 24. And how many of those 24 are in the 5/8 of 2/3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 24ths, which is the same as 5/12ths. And up here, if I did the multiplication out, it's 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 8 is 24, which again is 5/12. So like I said, this is the way I do it, but this is the way to see it.